This episode of I Work For Him is sponsored by SaferNet, Patriot Mobile, and the U.S. Christian Chamber 2026 Expo, found online at swc2026.com, code I Work For Him. You've tuned into I Work For Him, the voice of collaboration for the faith and work movement.
And we are your hosts, Jim and Martha Brangenberg, and our mission is to inspire every workplace believer to recognize their workplace as their ministry place, where they work with God every day. What can that look like in your workplace? Well, let's find out right now.
Furniture. Who makes the best furniture in the country? The best furniture is made by craftsmen, and it's made to last. Where do you find fine quality furniture like this? Well, when it's built by the craftsmen within the Amish community, of course. There are so many things the average American and average Christ follower don't know or understand about the Amish community, but we all know when they build something, it's built to last, and it's built with quality. From their farmsteads to their furniture, quality is evident everywhere. Today we get a glimpse into the Amish community and the best furniture made in America, built to last for generations. Ernie Hershberger joined us today from Homestead Furniture in Mount Hope, Ohio, to share his story of faith, family, and furniture. Ernie, welcome to I Work For Him.
Well, thank you. When I was listening, I was thinking, wow, I wouldn't mind being Amish.
There you go. You'd have great furniture then, wouldn't you?
That was quite a bio, so I appreciate that. Yeah, we do build a couple pieces of furniture.
Yeah, well, and we're going to get into that in a little bit, but we always start off a show with a first-time guest, Ernie, just talking about Jesus. When did Jesus impact your life? When did Jesus become your Lord and Savior? Tell us that story.
So that's always a kind of a loaded question for me, and I've grappled with that because I don't remember. I never had an active conversion per se. And people would ask me all the time, when did you meet the Lord? And how did that transaction go? And so I finally ended up reaching out to a pastor or like a counselor. And he said, my kids don't have that radical conversion either, because we read to our children when they were still in the womb, and we talked to them about Jesus and all that. And so the same thing happened for us. I mean, I grew up in a Christian family, very strong faith. And so, for the biggest conversion, I wouldn't call it conversion, but the acceptance of the baptism, I went through at, I think, 18 or 19. But as far as Jesus being my Lord, I mean, I don't remember him being my Lord. And so, spiritually, I you go through ebbs and flows, and there's questions, and sometimes you wonder, where am I going? But, it's fleeting, and you always come back to Scripture, and you come back to the Word, and it's the truth. All the answers are there. And so, but as a human being, sometimes I forget about that. But Jesus has been in my life as long as I never remember him not being part of my life.
And that's a beautiful thing. And everybody's faith story is so different. And we interviewed somebody earlier today that said the same thing. It's like, I don't know. There wasn't a date because I knew Jesus and knew about Jesus from the minute I was born. And that's fantastic. But the good news is, you didn't say, I don't really want what mom and dad have. You're like, no, I want what mom and dad have. I want to reproduce it in my own family.
So I thank you for sharing that. And I know we're going to continue to kind of unpack, a better understanding of where God has you in life. But one of the things we really want to know is, when did you realize that our Heavenly Father had given you this gift to be able to run a large furniture company?
Well, I didn't.
Okay.
I struggle with those types of questions because I was taught from a young age that be a good steward of the talent that God gave you, be it that, mowing the lawn or, doing your chores or whatever it may be. And so I have people still today ask me, like, what would you do if you could do anything that you wanted in the world? And I honestly, at 56 years of age, my answer is always the same. I don't know. All I know is I want to be a great steward of the talent that God gave me. And so, yes, I have manufacturing in my history. I'm a fourth generation woodworker coming from high-end custom kitchen cabinets, married a girl in Mount Hope that their family was all in retail. And my wife and her parents started Homestead Furniture 6 months before we got married. And so I married into that, but I was still very much vested in the kitchen cabinet company. It took me a while, even as owners of this furniture company, to come home and dive deeper into it. And so I still today, as economies ebb and flow, and we have our ups and downs in the workforce and even in the field of furniture, I'm not married to furniture production. I just want to be a great steward of wherever Christ placed me with the talent that he's given me. And I think he expects me to constantly work on that talent so that I'm prepared to serve at whatever level and capacity that he wants me to serve. Because there are days that I would that I say, Lord, why do you make me work so hard?
Well, that kind of goes. So does he give you an answer?
Well, he says, here's the answer that I get back. And this kind of ties in with the whole stewardship thing of talent is I am under the full understanding on my side that my reward is not going to be on this side of the grave.
Correct.
And so I will put in every effort of what it will take to be a great steward of whatever is set on my path, be it easy, be it hard, be it a struggle, whatever it may be. And so that has really helped me over the years, is that I don't expect the reward on this side. I'm working for the reward on the other side by serving him from the bottom of my heart. And, I'm not perfect. I don't always get it done, but that is what I want to do.
Mm.
And that's a phenomenal answer, because you're right. We're called to be stewards. We're called to be good stewards, called to be faithful stewards. And there's so many things you could probably do with the talents that God built into your DNA and then built into your family line. But right now he's got you running a furniture store. I mean, how many employees do you have?
Well, we don't have that many employees. We're very specific with high-end custom furniture. So we have about 20 employees at this point. It ebbs and flows. I mean, and so I don't really, I guess, specifically keep track of the employee side. What I care about at the end of the day is that we have raving fans of Homestead Furniture that love telling their story of how we serve them. And we have customers in every state of the United States and 10 countries. And we only advertise in a small arena around us within the state of Ohio, maybe 100 miles. All the rest is word of mouth.
Yeah.
And so that's part of our generational stewardship plan, is taking care of customers to the level that they really want to tell our story and spread it. And so it ties kind of in with all that. Yeah.
Okay, so you just used the word generational stewardship. So you're second generation then for the company.
I'm fourth.
You're fourth within the home. Okay.
So I'm fourth generation in woodworking on my mom's side of the family. That goes back to 1918.
Okay.
I'm first generation in the furniture retail side and manufacturing. So I tell people I'm a fourth generation woodworker, but first generation in Homestead, because my wife started that company 6 months before we got married.
Fabulous.
Nice.
When we talk about why do you do what you do? And Ernie just telling us about the stewardship call on our lives. It's such a great question. And sometimes people actually ask Jim and I that question, why do you do what you do? And if I had to bottom line it, I would say it's to help others learn how important every day of their lives is to the kingdom. All of life is critical. Our work, our home, our play, our volunteer hours, our financial stewardship, and our relationships. I work for him as a resource for believers to see how much every aspect of life, including work, is to be stewarded well. So go to iworkforhim.com/join the nation to learn more about how to implement these values into your everyday. Ernie,
you've chosen to follow Jesus and live the Amish lifestyle. How do those two things mesh together?
Well, I mean, so we get this question a lot, being a retail store, and I understand, the kind of isolatedness of being Amish. It's kind of our culture and our lifestyle, and people think it's a cult, but it's not. And so we grow up. I mean, I don't know of an Amish guy that's not, or any Amish families that aren't Christian, and so it's. The best I can explain is why do we want to live more conservatively? And one of our older bishops puts it, I think, really good in perspective, is that church standards help create the absence of temptation. Does not take the temptation away. And, I drive a really nice black Frisian horse. I can have all the pride in the world. I don't have to have a Lamborghini to be prideful. I can do it with my horse. So I'm not talking about, those types of things, but I do value as a person. And if people ask me those types of questions, I say, you don't have to be Amish to create a holistic hedge around you like God gave Job. That if you know your weaknesses and strengths as a person, then think about what gets you into trouble and what keeps you at peace and what makes you sleep at night, and then create that type of hedge. And so I look at myself as being fortunate to grow up in a conservative Amish community, but by no means do you have to be Amish to get your reward in heaven. Bible doesn't talk about that. Jesus doesn't know us as an Amish person. He knows us as a Christian. But the Amish lifestyle is a Christian lifestyle wrapped around the Christian principles of our salvation. So our salvation is no different than, and people get this mixed up. I mean, they ask me all the time, Jesus? Oh, and I say, well, yeah, I mean, Jesus, I recognize myself as a sinner. I found Christ. He died for my sins. He rose, and I have a living hope and my faith in him. And they say, hallelujah. And I'm like, well, what do you think we are? And but they get it mixed up. They think Amish is some form of something. I don't know. But I guess, and those are great. I appreciate you asking that question, because it's one of my goals in life is all the movies, all the books, all the things that have been written about the Amish have missed the point. They try to represent that, oh, this happened or that happened, or they talk about the black sheep of the family, right, that, was upset, and we're no different than any other culture in life. I think what's important is that our faith is in Christ, and if we so choose to live a conservative lifestyle, then so be it. There's some value there. And if you don't, then I think you ought to build a little hedge around you to keep yourself safe, from crisis points. And so that's my perspective of me growing up as an Amish person.
It's a great perspective, and we all should be doing things to put ourselves in an area to not be surrounded by temptation. I mean, obviously we have to make choices. I mean, Martha and I live in Southwest Missouri. It's a lot easier to do that here in Southwest Missouri than it was in a big city. But there's pros and cons to all of it, but it's a matter of being led by the Spirit, and the Spirit led you there and has kept you there and is using you as an influencer there.
Yeah, I think that that's probably where that question comes from, Ernie, is that in our own experience within churches we've been a part of, there are people that take their faith very seriously and some that don't. And
some that don't even have faith.
That don't even understand what they're missing. And so I think that's, probably the curiosity, and getting this opportunity, which we are so grateful. You have been so kind, and I just feel like we've known you for a long time already, just by your openness and your willingness to talk with us. So let's talk a little bit more about the business. You've been running Homestead Furniture for 35 years, is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so how does your faith impact the operation of the company?
Well, it's integrated throughout. It's how we implement the biblical human relationship laws of how Christ set the example and talked about biblically of how we treat each other, how we love each other, how we serve each other, and all those things. And so even with the lean manufacturing perspective that we bring to the factory, if I waste an hour of motion, you as a customer have to pay me more because I got to cover that cost. And especially in America with American labor, American hardwoods, all that. So it's extremely important. And so people in the world out there call it lean. I say lean is just the biblical, is the heathen term of biblical stewardship. And so biblical stewardship of us serving each other and loving on each other dictates everything from our culture of how we, excuse me, the vision for our company, that's on my shoulders as a steward. And then my responsibility, I was just I'm on our local hospital board, and I call them our sheep, and our employees are our sheep. I mean, as a shepherd, our sheep, if our sheep are hurting, I'm hurting. If our sheep are at peace, I'm at peace. And so if our employees are at peace, that means we've gotten underneath them, we've lifted them up, they have direction, we've given them the tools to be successful, they can serve their customers, our customers that come through the door at a high level of whatever needs to be done. And so, you know, even to the point, like I give ownership to employees to take care of a customer. I mean, if a customer's upset, the question that should be asked is, what is it that I can do to make you happy? And they do it. And we serve clients across the world that way. And it's why we have raving fans and customers all over, and we only advertise in a small local area. And so it's part of our DNA and culture at our family and our businesses of how we treat people. I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but
you know, I love what you said though, is that, you know, that lean manufacturing to you is a biblical principle because you're being a good steward of all that. I think it comes down to what you're saying is the spirit of why you're doing it, because there's lean manufacturers that do it because of greed. You know, they want a tighter expense so that they can make more money. But you're honoring your customer. You're like, it's just your heart is in what you are explaining there. That is so beautiful, and I think that makes a big difference, and probably draws a lot of those people to be repeat customers too. So, which is wonderful.
We have a lot of customers, and talking about that, we started this in 2001 when we opened the new store. We do an apple crisp and a homemade ice cream in the fall. And then the first week in June, we have homemade strawberry pie and ice cream. So starting tomorrow, we have homemade pie, strawberry pie and ice cream. And we'll serve anywhere from 200 to 400 pies.
Wow.
To customers that come. And we'll have, there's been years that we had 4,000 people come through our store on that week. Now, this week, we're not expecting quite as much just because of the economy and things like that. So it's scaled back, but we'll probably have close to 2,000 people come through our store.
Oh, my goodness.
This week.
I'd drive to Ohio for a good piece of
there you go.
Strawberry pie. Are you kidding? Oh, man.
We should have timed this a little bit differently.
We should have done this one on location. That's what we should have
done. Next year.
Next year.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so you said you have about 20 employees. Are most of them family?
No, we have 7 children, and two of the girls that are married have their husbands have great jobs, and so they're homemakers. And then I have 4 boys, and all 4 boys are involved in the business at this point. And then the rest are neighbors, church members, people in the community, woodworkers that want to be woodworkers, or woodworkers want to learn how to work, you know, and stuff like that. So we're all over the place between sales, delivery, and, you know, finishing and manufacturing, all that. So.
Right.
All right. Is everybody that's working for you already a Jesus follower, or do you invite some in so they can find Jesus working for you?
We both, and it ebbs and flows, depends what's going on, but yeah, the answer is yes. Yep.
Okay. All right. So this is
influence the ones that aren't.
Yeah, absolutely. You might as well. That's your mission field. That's an incredible mission field, and you're providing for their family, and you're introducing them to Jesus. What better job is there than that? All right. Yeah. So I studied your website, okay, because it's incredible. I'm a furniture appreciator. I can't build furniture. Amish furniture is very typically very conservative with a relatively few finish options. You go nuts. You could go conservative to totally modern French expressionist with over 3,000 different finishes available. How in the world do you serve such a wide audience? That's an incredible palette.
Well, it all started off with me never wanting to say no to a customer. And I was a student as a young kid to lean manufacturing. I traveled to Toyota, toured their plant, traveled to Ford Rugg in Dearborn, Michigan, toured their plant, started, percolating those ideas. And then when the light bulb went on that this is just a good biblical stewardship, I got out my stopwatch and I created a flow control sheet, and we mapped every process of everything that was happening, and we just leaned everything out. And so that is the nuts and bolts of, well, other than me wanting to serve. I hate saying no. And here's how I tell people. I think it's the biblical way of serving each other. Why should I manufacture a piece of furniture in a box and set it to a warehouse that then sends it to a retail store? Then the salesperson job is to convince the customer that this is what they want. If you walk into our retail showroom, we have 27,000 square feet of show space. We have all these different hardwood pieces. We have 10 different brands in upholstery. And our goal is to be all American made, which we're not 100% because the accessories, like I can't buy a lamp from America anymore almost. I mean, here and there I can. So then you think about it, nothing starts till you tell me what direction you want to go. And so as a salesperson or salespeople, we create furniture for you in a short lead time. So you can get a custom bedroom set or a custom dining room set that you control the species, size, chairs, fabric, whatever that it is that you want. And you give me a deposit. I say go. About on average 12 to 14 weeks, I'll have that furniture set in your home, and it's specifically built for you. And the only reason I can do it is the lean manufacturing technique, and the whole team wants to serve. We love serving customers. And you think about it, when you build something special for a customer that they're going to keep for their lifetime and pass down to the next generation, and it's exactly what they've been imagining.
Yeah.
And it's such a wonderful feeling, and a different feeling than if you just sell something out of the box and deliver it the next day. And listen, I want to clarify this because we all need Walmart, right? And I don't have a problem with anybody that is building something for Walmart. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think it's unbiblical to build something for Walmart. It's just not my calling. My calling of the steward, that the talent that God gave me, is to do this. And I followed along, and I have peace with it. And we have great love in what we're doing for our customer base by doing that.
That's beautiful.
All right, but you didn't answer my whole question now. So let me just go back to it. What was it? Well, the question was, okay, typical Amish furniture is pretty conservative. I mean, it's wonderful. It's beautiful. But you've got this other brand line that's not homestead furniture. I can't remember even the name of it. That's
Abner Henry.
Abner Henry. That it is wild. It's crazy. It's colorful. It's unique shapes. I mean, where did that come from?
By listening to customers. And so in 2008, we launched Abner Henry. So Abner is my great-grandpa, Henry is my dad. So that's where the family name comes from. And so Homestead serves the residential customers.
Okay.
And Abner Henry serves the design industry. So when you get into the design industry, there's a whole different level of scale and refinement and flexibility in the design. So we're more conservative at Homestead, but not necessarily. I mean, if you look at the Homestead website, we have a broader spectrum because we have a fairly broad spectrum of customers that are asking for this. You get to the design arena, now they want glass and wood and metal, and like our creation with the Metropolitan Museum of Art, there's a whole collection of about 25 pieces that's all inspired by the facade of the Met, and it's just a different customer, and we have the ability to serve both. And I kind of sarcastically sometimes point out to designers because they look at the furniture, they look at me, and then they look at the furniture again, and they look at me, and they say, "Well, you're Amish," and I say, "Yeah," and he's like, "Well, you're not supposed to be able to do that," and I'm like, "Why not?" And so I sometimes, like I said, I sarcastically say, "Tell me what's Amish about that," and they're like, "Well, it's good quality," but it's just it's a different platform, and
It's fantastic.
We have the greatest fun with it. I mean, it's just it's so much fun.
Okay, so this is kind of how I see it. You're working for a homestead, and you kept having these this customer wants this crazy thing and this crazy thing. So hey, let's create a company so that every time I come in, I don't have people saying we can't make that. So I just see this scenario here. You're creative, and you're willing to make the customer happy and create beautiful productions that no one could get anywhere else. And that is why you have the reputation that you have, and that you have the customer base from every state in America, as well as you said 10 other countries, customers that are coming, and the demand is there. I just think it's fantastic.
It is unbelievable. I just get giddy thinking about all the options and that Ernie has to offer, and all the resources that we have to offer here at I Work For Him. Just like Ernie can offer thousands of finishes for the furniture that they build at Homestead and Abner Henry, we can offer you, our listeners, thousands of podcasts, blogs, ministries, books, and a host of other things on our website. Go to iworkforhim.com today and click around, and make sure you check out our sponsors, because they're the people that help keep our show on the air. I know you'll be glad that you did. There's something for everyone, literally. Man, woman, retiree, employee, boss, and so much more. Ernie, one of the things we know about business is it's there to be a blessing to the owner, be a blessing to the employees, be a blessing to the vendors and the customers, but also be a blessing to the community. How, and I know you said Mountain Hope's a pretty small community, but your community is bigger. I mean, Ohio's got all kinds of fantastic communities in it. How has your business impacted the community that you operate within?
In addition to strawberry pie and apple crisp.
Strawberry pie, ice cream. Imagine homemade ice cream, homemade strawberry pie. Why weren't we doing this show on location? I'm just trying to figure that out. Okay, but talk about the impact on the community.
So, listen, we're stewards for Jesus. And so when it comes to cash, people, as a rule, or I shouldn't say as a rule, because I don't want to point any fingers, because I was caught in the same trap. And that is that I used to ask myself the question, how much, I need cash, I need profits, I need all this. And that's all true. But when I switched it to asking myself the question of how much of Jesus's money do I need for myself, that changed the whole perspective of what tithing means and how we serve the community, the widows, the poor people, the people that need help. They might not all need cash. They might just need a loving word, a pat on the back. We had an old bishop that I grew up underneath, and he said, a good pat on the back is really good for everybody, but just make sure it's not too high up on the back. And so, it's all a perspective of how we serve each other. And so my goal is that we look at it from that perspective, and when we reach out and organizations need help, employees get involved, we donate pieces, maybe it's cash or whatever it may be, but it's really his. I'm only a steward. And I want, I preach this, is I want Jesus to live his life through me. It's one thing for me to live for Jesus. It's another thing for him to live his life through me. And so, I try to keep that front in perspective for me, and helps me stay on straight and narrow and not get greedy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so you said that you have 4 boys working in the company with you. Is this intended to be a generational company for the family? Will they be the next to carry it on?
Well, our goal is to be a generational company.
Okay.
Everything is tailored toward that. I've told my children from a young age up that they are not obligated to work at Homestead or Abner Henry. But they feel the magic, and they love the company, and they're a vital part of it at this point. And we fully expect them to continue in the culture, the stewardship of their talents, and with our hope that this company will be around for a long time.
How many pieces of furniture do you think you guys have built in the 35 years that you've been running the business?
Oh, I honestly don't have any idea. I mean, I know there have been years that we shipped over 5,000 pieces of furniture.
Wow.
I mean, we've shipped a lot of product.
Wow. So 100,000 plus pieces. That's amazing. And so you're impacting families, like you said, in every state in America and in 10 additional countries. And just knowing that stuff's going to be there forever, because nobody, Amish furniture doesn't ever make the dumpster. We know that for a fact because it's just so incredible. Martha's sister's got a bunch of it that she got when she was living in Iowa. I'm always hoping maybe we'll get a hand-me-down or something. All right. Your values as an organization for Homestead Furniture. I got this off your website. See the future, engage and develop others, reinvent continuously, value results and value relationships, and embody the values. How's that play out? What's that look like on a day-to-day basis there?
So I created that. I shouldn't say I created. I loaned that acronym from SERVE. So I forget exactly where I saw it, but I loved it. And so we integrate that into our culture by one of the things that we don't do this 100% perfect, but our goal is to give every employee a one-on-one every month, or as they progress through. Maybe they're a new employee, and we try to give them that opportunity and build that trust and create the vision for them and give them we call it running lane or their job description, and we empower them within that running lane to do their jobs. And so we go through this. And so one thing that I didn't have on the website, so under See the Future, I've got wisdom, discernment, and resourcefulness. And so we literally grade ourselves by these words of value to help us grow and strengthen ourselves. And so, I mean, See the Future wisdom is at the top of the game. I mean, there's just nowhere biblically to get around. Knowledge we gain just by what we do day by day. Sure. Wisdom is 100% godsend. If we can make a decision today that is right for tomorrow, we have to have wisdom. We need a lot of discernment, be able to weed through the clutter, and then make a decision. I mean, I'm one of these guys that I use the Trinity pattern. Father, Son, Holy Spirit is three. I discovered years ago that a lot of things work in threes. And when I started paying attention to it, God has given me a lot on my plate. But when I hear three vibes or three specific, and it could be in the uniquest place, it could be my wife at dinner, just out of the blue, make a comment about something. It could be an employee that says something. It could be a customer. It could be a friend at church that says, hey, I've been thinking about that, whatever. And I'm like, what? And it's the final straw to a decision. And so I try to stay within that, and it's really kept me safe in a lot of areas if I pay attention to it. And then the resourcefulness of See the Future is that you have to be willing to make an adjustment if you made the decision yesterday. So if I made a decision yesterday with the best of my knowledge and wisdom, and tomorrow I recognize that it's not quite right, then I encourage people to not then. I meet so many people that think they're dumb and they made a mistake. And it's like, no. You didn't make a mistake as long as you adjust it. Because here's the other Trinity pattern. And I see it all the time. It literally happens all the time. Is we make a decision, we adjust it, and by the third time, it's like perfect, and it's running full steam. And I see my competition and competitors, they're stuck on trying to make the perfect decision, and then they fall behind. And or I even see it in other industries. If people ask me, I coach other businesses, and it's like, no, you got to go. Like, you feel good about it now? Go for it. Tomorrow, next week, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, make the adjustment as God gives it to you and stay running. So that's very, very important. And then the engage and develop others is we have to have a high level of empathy. You read about it more. Never heard of it, but this term till a couple of years ago is emotional intelligence. And it ties right into the empathy side. And so we need to communicate that. We need to show empathy. and that creates trustworthiness, and then we can engage and develop others. I tell people, you might be on my payroll, but I'm the steward, and I learn as much from you as you will from me.
That's right.
This is a two-way thing. And so don't be afraid of that. I need to build that trust so that people can lead up. And then reinvent continuously. You got to be bold, you got to be courageous, and you got to be decisive. No, I mean, you can't reinvent and decide that I'm going to do 10 species, 3,000 finishes, unlimited sizing, width, height, and depth, and then say, oh boy, it'd be nice if I could dive deeper into the lean manufacturing. It's like, no. You got to dive in. You got to go. I mean, we're serving at a high level. Who's telling you to not go? It's not the good spirit that's telling you to not go. And so then value the results and relationships. It's very important that everybody feels and takes ownership, and that they want to be great stewards of their job descriptions, what they've got. And then we have to have a whole lot of humility, because we're not perfect. We're sinners. We're not perfect. And we need a lot of latitude among each other and lift each other up. And as soon as we start pointing fingers or going, I call it sideways energy, then we just tear each other down. And we just don't allow it. And if I do it, I get caught with it sometimes. And if I get called out by an employee, I thank him. So, and then embody the values. We have to be accountable to the values. We need to be able to teach, and we should be teachable. And then we got to have a great attitude about it. And so that's our, we call it our great purpose, serve with excellence. And I got a little pen here that I engraved, and I didn't think about this till I said, it's engraved. It says relentless pursuit of excellence. And it ties right in with this. I've been carrying this pen for years. It's a wooden pen, walnut. No, it's rosewood. And I don't lose it. If I lose it, I go find it.
Yeah.
Because you love it. Ernie, when you describe all that, it sounds like a phenomenal place to work and a great place to buy furniture. Because if those things are being embodied, every piece has that kind of love, that kind of investment made into it, and that's phenomenal. We encourage everybody listening to the show today, check out homesteadfurnitureonline.com and Abner Henry. I think it's abnerhenry.com, isn't it? Yep, that's right. And you're going to be blown away, because it's beautiful, beautiful stuff. I wish I had a house that stuff would fit into. Ernie, we're out of time. Is there any final words you'd like to leave with our audience today?
Serve. Get rid of self. Serve at a high level. Let Christ lead you. Trust, and move forward, and expect your reward to be after the grave.
Beautiful. Ernie Hershberger, thanks for being on I Work For Him. You've been listening to I Work For Him with your host, Jim and Martha Brangenberg. We're Christ followers. At our workplace, it's our mission field. But ultimately, I work for him. This episode of I Work For Him is sponsored by SaferNet.com, PatriotMobile.com/I Work For Him, and the U.S. Christian Chamber 2026 Expo, found online at swc2026.com, code I Work For Him.
Thanks for listening to the I Work For Him podcast with your hosts, Jim and Martha Brangenberg. Please visit iworkforhim.com to learn more about connecting your faith and work, to join the I Work For Him Nation, and to subscribe to our weekly newsletter. While you're there, check out the Tapestry Database, a growing directory of faith and work organizations. You can also follow us on social media at I Work For Him to stay up to date and meet our guests. If today's message spoke to you, please subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast platform. Your review will launch more workplace missionaries across America. That's I Work For Him, and online at iworkforhim.com. I work, 4, him.com.